Good evening and welcome to this media briefing. We would like to do this weekly, but due to various reasons of lockdown, we had to take a break. But I'm happy that you could join us again today. This time we have a lot of questions focusing on vaccines, and I would hand over the floor to Yatin to take us through the questions.
So first set of question is on vaccine from USA. Maha from CNN News 18 is asking that how many vaccines in India from USA to be sent. The 80 million, is it willing to share? Is there any timeline? Also, the 60 million of it are AstraZeneca vaccines not approved in US. So are these rejected vaccines be taken by India? Nainima from Print is asking that US has said that it has still not decided how many vaccines India and other countries will get out of their plan to ship 80 million doses. What is the MEA's reaction to that? Similar question from Suhasini, where she is also asking that whether there will be the AstraZeneca doses provided last year from USA. Deepak Ranjan from PTI Bhasha has also asked about supply from foreign countries. In addition, he is asking कि क्या भारत में इन टीकों के उत्पादन को लेकर कोई बातचीत की कोई स्थिति है. Manash from PTI also on the same line asking that is India in touch with any other country or bloc including EU to acquire vaccines, and Siddhant is also asking about vaccine from USA.
Thanks, Yatin. Look, we remain engaged with US entities on the prospect of procuring vaccines from the US and also perhaps manufacturing them in India subsequently. This would augment our vaccine availability once this is available, whether it is through procurement or subsequent manufacturing. We have, of course, noted the recent announcement by the US government of its intention to make some vaccines available to other countries. However, I do not have any information on this to share for the moment. I would like to emphasize that all vaccines that may be procured from abroad would need to be as per our regulatory guidelines. I understand that the US has also indicated that any vaccine that it sends abroad would be after obtaining FDA clearance for product quality. Yatin.
Next set of question is also on COVID vaccines. Siddhant from Vion has asked that how many countries have spoken to India on vaccine supplies. Bangladesh foreign minister had raised this issue with EM, and similarly Gautam Lahiri is also asking that whether Bangladesh foreign minister had spoken to EM on vaccine supply and what was India's response. He has also asked that have they requested to approach USA on their behalf. Sachin from Times of India has asked, several neighboring countries seem to be reeling under India's vaccine shortage and are in dire need of help. Some of them need to administer the second shot of Covishield immediately. Now that vaccine export is effectively banned and Serum is unable to honor its commercial agreements, what is the message from government to these countries who are still looking at India for help? Is the government contemplating arranging shots for these countries from abroad, say USA? Nainima from the Print is asking, China seems to be now shipping millions of vaccine to India's neighbor as New Delhi has stopped its export of vaccines. Serum Institute has said they will be able to export only by the year end. Is MEA concerned about China gaining more grounds when it comes to vaccine diplomacy in neighborhood? Suhasini from Hindu is also asking about India assisting Bhutan in procuring the remainder of 500,000 doses promised. Devi Rupa from Wire is asking about whether MEA's call from India's neighbor for vaccine, especially to give second doses. Sandeep from Tribune is asking what is government's assessment about vaccine Maitri's success, a lack of it. Is it true that commercially contracted vaccine doses were also clubbed in vaccine Maitri? Devdeep from Sankei Shimbun is asking, can you give us the status of Vaccine Maitri mission of India? Has India stopped all vaccine exports? And Sandeep from Tribune also has a question. Are there timelines now for the Quad initiative to finance, manufacture and distribute COVID vaccines? If there are no timelines yet, has a decision been taken on vaccines that will be manufactured by Quad in India?
Oh, that's a lot of questions on vaccines. Let me start with the ones we talked about. What vaccines have been sent abroad? Look, all the details of made in India vaccines that were supplied abroad earlier this year, be it as a grant from the government or for fulfilling contractual obligations. These are available, all the details, on the ministry's website, and I would invite you to have a look at that if you're interested. As regards the issue of further vaccine supplies abroad, I would highlight that this issue was answered in detail by Foreign Secretary when he addressed the media on April 29th. If you recall, he particularly highlighted the need to purpose currently the vaccine that is being produced domestically towards our own domestic vaccination program. I think EM made a similar point today. I don't have any further update on this issue, and nor do I have any update on the issue of vaccine manufacturing under the Quad initiative.
Next set of question is on foreign assistance. Gautam Lahiri has asked that what's the update on foreign medical assistance to India, and how many countries sent assistance and which are those countries. Similarly, Siddhan from Yon is also asking about how many countries so far have sent assistance to India. And Deepak Ranjan from PTI Pasha has also asked for update on the help from foreign countries.
Well, a large number of countries have expressed solidarity with and support to India in our fight against the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. You would have seen a lot of these details that have been put out in our social media. Many of these countries, I would say numbering over 40, have supplied COVID-related equipment and material to us through the Indian Red Cross Society.
Gautam Lahiri is asking, recently Chinese ambassador in Dhaka threatened Bangladesh not to join Quad. What's our response, and whether India has ever requested Bangladesh to join Quad?
Let me address the last part. You would recall that Foreign Secretary, during his media briefing after the first Quadrilateral Leaders Virtual Summit on March 12, had clearly stated that the issue of expansion of the grouping was not discussed. But as regards the Bangladesh issue, I understand that Bangladesh government has already responded to this issue. I have no particular comment on this for now.
Next set of question is on Israel-Palestine situation. Daria from Sputnik is asking, is India planning to back France-backed UN resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in the Israel-Palestine conflict? Pranab Prakhar from Vision TV World is asking, has Israel approached India for support in UNSC discussion? What is India's viewpoint on US President's statement that crisis should be de-escalated between Israel-Gaza conflict, and USA has spoken to Egypt leadership in this regard? Siddhan from Vion is asking, has India spoken to foreign ministers of Israel and Palestine on the ongoing Israel-Palestine issue? Deepak Ranjan from PTI Pasha is asking for ministry's response on this current situation. Manish Shah from Business World is asking, while India supported Palestine and two-state resolution during the ongoing conflict, what is the India's position towards Hamas and its action towards Israel? Has India offered vaccines and humanitarian assistance to Palestine during ongoing conflict?
I would like to share that we are closely following developments in this regard. On May 16th, our permanent representative at the United Nations in New York made a detailed statement on the subject during the open debate of the United Nations Security Council. We also expect to make a statement on the issue at the UN General Assembly over the next day or two when the issue comes up again. I don't have any other information to share for the moment.
Maha from CNN News 18 is asking, Singapore Health Ministry referred to variant B1617 as Indian variant. Has India taken up this issue with Singapore as it can create prejudice against Indians in Singapore? Deepak Ranjan from PTI Pasha is asking, कोरोना वायरस के स्वरूप को दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल की टिप्पणी पर सिंगापुर की आपत्ति के बाद क्या द्विपक्षीय और राजनयिक संबंधों को नुकसान पहुंचा है? Anita Joshua from Telegraph is asking, has the ministry taken any action, or is it contemplating any action with regard to Singapore High Commissioner saying that his country considered invoking the Protection from Online Falsehoods and Manipulation Act against Delhi Chief Minister? Devi Rupa from The Wire is asking, does the MEA plan to take up the issue of Singapore considering invocation of POFMA against Delhi Chief Minister?
Look, I think on this issue, we have already conveyed our position very clearly. I don't think I have anything further to add to what has been already put out in the public domain.
Siddhant from Vion is asking, Iran has dropped India from a key gas field project, Farzad B. It was discovered by ONGC. Has India raised the issue with Tehran? Do you think Iran was not keen on India or US sanctions had played the role in this?
We have seen media reports that the National Iranian Oil Company, NIOC, has signed a contract this week on May 17 with Messrs. Petropars for the development of the Farzad B gas field in the Persian Gulf. It may be recalled that last July 2020, we had shared with you that Iran had decided to develop this Farzad B gas field on its own and wanted to involve India appropriately at a later stage. The involvement of this Indian consortium is underway, and we are in touch with them. The latest development, of course, is part of Iran's own efforts to develop the gas field, and we are in touch. Our consortium is in touch with the Iranian authorities.
Sanjay Rai from Ash is asking, पाकिस्तान भारत से बातचीत करने की पेशकश से पलटकर फिर से कश्मीर का मुद्दा उठा रहा है। इन घटनाक्रम पर विदेश मंत्रालय को क्या कहना है?
देखिए, पाकिस्तान इस विषय पर हमारी जो पोजीशन है आपको अच्छी तरह मालूम है सबको। इस समय मेरे पास और कुछ ऐसा है नहीं जो मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर सकूं इस विषय पर।
Sanjay Rai from Ash has also another question. चीन ने लद्दाख के पास फिर से सैन्य अभ्यास शुरू कर दिया है। इस पर विदेश मंत्रालय की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है? दीपक रंजन फ्रॉम पीटीआई भाषा इज आस्किंग, पूर्वी लद्दाख में चीन के साथ गतिरोध की ताज़ा स्थिति क्या है? रंजित कुमार फ्रॉम रक्षक न्यूज़ इज आस्किंग, is there any forward movement on talks between India and China regarding disengagement of forces along friction points on LAC? Shailesh Kumar from National Defense is asking, what is the latest update on India-China border disengagement? Does Chinese PLA exercising in death areas close to Ladakh border pose a security challenge to India? And if yes, are these concerns communicated to China? What is their response to mitigate any escalation?
युद्ध अभ्यास के बारे में हमारे आर्मी चीफ ने मई 18 को याद मुझे जितना दूर आ रहा है, उन्होंने उसे स्पष्टीकरण दे रखी है। मुझे उस पर और कुछ कहना नहीं है। ऑन द लार्जर इशू ऑफ डिसएंगेजमेंट, External Affairs Minister, in his most recent conversation with his Chinese counterpart on April 30th, conveyed that while the process of disengagement had commenced earlier this year, it remained unfinished. He emphasized that it was necessary that this process be completed at the earliest. In this context, the two sides have agreed also that in the interim, they would maintain stability on the ground and avoid any new incidents. It is our expectation, therefore, that neither side should take any action that is not in keeping with these understandings. Full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas would enable progress in this bilateral relationship.
Dhairya from Sputnik has asked, more than 15,000 Chin refugees have entered India from Myanmar this month, as claimed by an aid agency. Any word on their return?
I would request you to direct your query to the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Sandeep from Tribune is asking, can you please provide an update on the major infrastructure projects agreed upon during EM's visit to Colombo and Seychelles?
I don't really have any further information on this. I will share updates as and when I have them.
Nivedita from Financial Express is asking, EM said in the Nikkei conference that India is working on supply chain mechanisms. Which are the countries India is working with in this regard, and what is the progress?
I think EM has addressed this issue in his statement quite comprehensively. I don't have much to add except to highlight that this is an ongoing process. You would have noted that this issue has found mention in all our recent joint statements that we have issued with our foreign partners. That shows us the focus that we've had on this issue.
Next set of question is on Indian students. Maha from CNN News 18 has asked, several students have been stranded in India as countries are not opening up for them without full vaccinations, haven't made it clear when they can rejoin in personal classes. In the is the MEA in touch with any of these countries like Australia, Germany, specifically over issues being faced by students? Geeta Mohan from India Today is asking, some US universities are seeking vaccination certificates. Will the Indian government facilitate vaccination of students who get through colleges abroad and require such a certificate given that there is a shortage of vaccine doses?
Look, all these questions actually really relate to vaccination issue, and I would therefore direct your query to the Ministry of Health on this issue.
Geeta Mohan from India Today is asking, there are cases of job scam where nurses from Kerala are stuck in UAE. Despite repeated advisories by the Indian mission, this continues. What is being done for the nurses who were taken to serve in COVID vaccination centers?
We have seen some media reports in this regard. Our consulate in Dubai has referred the matter to the Protector of Immigrants in Tiruvananthapuram, since preliminary inquiries indicate the possible involvement of some Indian recruiting agents in this. So far, our embassy in Abu Dhabi and our consulate in Dubai have not received any requests to repatriate Indian nurses. However, they remain in touch with community associations to identify and extend help to any Indian national who approaches them with any specific request.
I have no further questions, sir.
Thank you, Yatin. That brings us to the end of this media briefing. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.